What up, y'all? This DJ Illmatic back once again, coming at you live and direct, straight from my crib, USA, daily operation, episode 11. Here to chop it up with you about all the goings on in the gaming world today. Now, I've been away for a couple of weeks. I have to apologize, but sadly enough, my PlayStation 4 decided to die on me. For those of you that have been rocking with DJ Illmatic, you know I use PlayStation Share Factory to make my podcast, and so when my PlayStation died, I didn't have anything to make it with. So I had to take a little time to figure out exactly what computer programs I could use and how I was going to use them. And so now I'm back hitting you with daily operation again. First time I'm using what I'm using, and so I'm not really sure how to go, what it'll look like. I'll learn as I go, and we'll see how it turned out. As far as my PlayStation, not really sure what happened. About a week and a half ago, it just started turning off on its own. I'd play a game for about 10 minutes, and the system would just shut down completely. And so luckily, I still have a warranty, so I sent that off. And have to wait a couple weeks now. Sadly, I'm sitting here. I have been unable to enjoy Bloodborne, unable to enjoy Borderlands Collection, unable to enjoy MLB The Show. I was really looking forward to Axiom Verge. Haven't been able to chance to play any of those games because my PlayStation is away. But I have been giving me some time to show more love to my Xbox. So, you know, we'll make do till we get it back. So, before we got started off like we do every week, hitting you with electric relaxation, talking about the games that I've played in the past week. And I'm actually going to go back to a couple of weeks because the daily operation I was working on when my PlayStation died, I actually had footage of Battlefield Hardline. I wanted to talk about that because I've seen it get mixed reviews. I can say I really enjoyed Battlefield Hardline. I actually loved the game. Had a whole lot of fun with it, both single player and multiplayer. The time I spent, I had a chance to play through the entire campaign. Really enjoyed the Battlefield campaign. The story was one of the better stories in the Battlefield series. Now, that being said, Battlefield is not known for its story elements, but all things considered, Battlefield Hardline had a very decent story. It fell off really at the end. Towards the end of the story, it really built up to something I thought could have been special. I really wasn't sure where it was going, and then it kind of fell flat at the very end because it did like most games and movies do nowadays. It set it up for a sequel. But all in all, I enjoyed the campaign. Now keep in mind, for those of you who have not played it, not seen it, Battlefield Hardline, the campaign mode, is a Battlefield game in name alone. It does not play campaign-wise like any of the other Battlefield games. It relies more on stealth and arresting the enemies instead of just coming in like Rambo and shooting everything in sight. The multiplayer plays very much like Battlefield that you're used to. It does have some new modes. I really enjoyed Hotwired, which is sort of like Conquest, but instead of a capture the flag, the car or vehicle is the actual flag, and so you have to hop in the car and drive it at a high rate of speed to capture that point, and then you start ticking away your opponent's tickets. They're trying to destroy the car. So I've had a whole lot of fun with Hotwire. That's a really fun new mode. I really enjoyed Battlefield, the total package, and so I would definitely recommend it for anyone who is a first-person shooter fan or who is a fan of the Battlefield series. I also spent some time playing through the Halo Master Chief Collection. Since my Sony PlayStation has been sent off, I have more time to play Xbox, and so I've finally got around to playing through the Master Chief Collection. I've never been a fan of the multiplayer Halo franchise, so I haven't jumped into that, but I really enjoyed the campaign, so I'm going back playing through 1, 2, and so on and so forth. And so I'm playing through 1 now. Really enjoying that. I also got a chance on the Xbox to check out the Fast and Furious Forza Horizon 2 DLC, which is free for Xbox Gold members, so make sure you check it out. I think it's free for maybe about another week. I'm not exactly sure. Basically, it's a demo that hypes the Fast and Furious movie. It has some of the cars from the Fast and Furious movie. It also has many of the songs from the Fast and Furious movie. It plays just like Forza Horizon 2. I reviewed Forza Horizon 2 for 8-Bit Chimp. I think if I remember correctly, I gave it a 9.5. I absolutely love Forza Horizon 2, and so I loved this Fast and Furious DLC. It's just basically more of the same. And it does two things. It really sells the movie and gets people interested in seeing the movie, but it also, if you haven't played Forza Horizon 2, this will really act as a demo to get you excited about going ahead and purchasing the game. So that's about it. I've checked out Neverwinter, I think it is, or is it Neverwinter Night? I'm not exactly sure. It's an MMO, free-to-play MMO that just launched on the Xbox One. Spent some time with that. I'm enjoying that as well. I'm not a big MMO guy. My MMO background basically consists of DC Universe Online on the PlayStation 3 and Destiny, which basically plays like an MMO. So I don't have a real MMO pedigree. Basically, from what I've seen, and I could be off, but MMOs seem to play pretty much the same. And so this reminds me a lot of the MMOs I've played before. That's not to say it's a bad thing. I've enjoyed my time with it. It's like I said, it's free to play, so there's a lot of carrots out there, a lot of things you look at and like, oh, I really want that, but you have to spend money to get, which is part of the free to play model. It hasn't hooked me enough to actually spend any hard-earned money. I don't know if I will. But so far, I'm enjoying Neverwinter Night. I'm going to continue to check it out, and I'll holler back at y'all again about that in a coming episode. Now, next up, we got Buck 'em Down. This is the part of the show where we buck down all the foolishness and the ignorance in the gaming world today. And today I'm going to talk about making the move from physical to digital distribution, or in terms of the games I buy. Now, I can tell you that I buy all my games physical copies. I collect games. I have a huge collection of my old PS3, 360, have old Nintendo, Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo games. So I collect games. And so I'm not one to buy a game and trade it in or sell it. Once I buy a game, I plan on keeping it as long as I'm around. And so I enjoy physical copies because there's something and to tell you how serious I am about my collection, I have my games sorted by console, and then they're also alphabetized. That's how real it gets for me. I have to alphabetize my collection. But there's something to me about just stepping back and looking at my massive collection of video games. Now, I know there's a whole lot of people that have got a lot more than me, so I'm not trying to sit here and say I got the biggest collection in the world. But for me, it's something I'm proud of, and I enjoy just looking at this massive amount of games sitting on my shelf. And so that's why I've really enjoyed physical copies. But Neverwinter Night, which was the free-to-play game on Xbox One, I actually downloaded it. I did the pre-download thing, and between that and Forza Horizon 2, the Fast and Furious DLC, and then some of the games I'm playing on EA Access, Madden, and so on and so forth, I really enjoyed being able to just switch back and forth between different games without getting up out of my chair, having to go through getting the disc out. And so that's made me think about actually making the switch to digital distribution. Like I said, I have no concerns about. I know the big hang up for a lot of people in terms of digital distribution is they like to trade their games in or sell them, and at this point you cannot do that with a digital game. That's not even a concern for me. That's not something I'm going to do. My main draw for maintaining or staying on physical games is just having that in my collection. But I'm thinking more and more about switching to digital just for the, like I said, the convenience of having them there, especially now that PlayStation it doesn't support external hard drives in terms of playing a game off of an external hard drive, but the latest firmware update for PlayStation does let you save games to an external hard drive, which will allow me to download, once I finish a game, put it over there for storage and still have it. I'm someone who doesn't like to just delete it and then I can download it later, because I'm always concerned that there will be a game that they take off the PlayStation Store without telling me, and I won't have access to it anymore. And so I like to have a copy myself, and so that now that they support saving your games to an external hard drive, I can do that. And so I'm thinking more and more about switching to digital. Like I said, I haven't made up my mind. Basically, the digital thing, it's a convenience. Also, and I was thinking about this the other day, my worry is if I have all my games on the external hard drive, what happens if I lose that external hard drive? But then I also have to think of what happens if I have a fire in my home, I've lost my entire collection. Whereas if it's a digital copy, I can still go back and re-download it. And so I'm starting to think about making the switch to digital. One of the really big hang-ups I have, or one of the hesitations I have, is the price. I would really like to see digital games be cheaper than physical games. Now, I know the reason they're not cheaper is because Sony, Microsoft, they don't want to upset retailers like Walmart, Gamestop, because they still need these retailers to carry their systems in their stores. And so they don't want to upset them by selling their games cheaper than Walmart or GameStop offers. Now, I understand that, but as a consumer, I want the games to be cheaper, because a digital game, you don't have to produce mass-produced cases and manuals and cellophane wrap and then have them shipped and all that. And so there's less cost on the publisher's end because you don't have all these costs of shipping and manufacturing all these things. And so I want some of that savings to be passed on to me as a consumer. And I'm not saying it has to be $10, $20 cheaper. I would love that, but I'm not saying that. But a $5 cheaper price point for me would really make the transition a lot quicker to digital. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's still something I'm thinking about, and we'll see in the future what route I decide to go. The next story I want to talk about is Dragon Age Inquisition. The DLC for the Dragon Age Inquisition has launched for the Xbox One and maybe the 360. I'm not sure about the last gen version, but I know it's launched for the Xbox One and PC, whereas PlayStation's is not launching until May. So it's time release on this DLC. And so, of course, a lot of fans are upset about this. And really, time DLC is anti-consumer. It is unfair to us, those of us who want to play the DLC. And I understand it's a money thing. Microsoft, Sony, both of them throw money at publishers to offer some form of time DLC. But I wonder if it doesn't cost the publisher more money on the back end. Because for me, DLC, even if it's a game I love, if the DLC takes too long to come out, by then I've moved along to another game, and so it's not something I'll even be interested in. And there have been a lot of games like that. I love the Mass Effect series, but if not Mass Effect 3, the downloadable content for that, I never went back to it just because I had moved along from that. And there have been several other examples of games that the downloadable content just took too long to come out. BioShock is another one. I love BioShock Infinite. I never went back to the DLC. And it's like I said, it's just because I had moved along to another game. And so DLC is a funny thing. You have to time it correctly. You don't want to have it come out too soon because then you have your consumer complaining about, well, why didn't you just put it on the game? But you don't want to wait too long because then people have forgotten about your game and moved along. And so by doing these timed exclusive deals, you are prolonging the release point for your DLC, which once again, in my opinion, will cost you consumers. Now, I don't know if the cost of consumers or the loss of people who will buy the DLC is far less than the money they make from Microsoft or Sony. I don't know that, but timed exclusive DLC is not something any of us should be a fan of as consumers because all it does is hurt us. And so I'd really like for publishers and console makers to move away from this model and start doing things that are best for the gamers, their consumers. All right, y'all, that's all the time we got for this week's episode of Daily Operation. This has been DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation, episode 11. Once again, check us out at 8bitchimp.com for all that gaming flavor you savor. Check me out on YouTube, like my videos, subscribe to the channel, DJ_Illmatic. Also hit me up on Twitch. I live stream almost daily, although it's cut back now that my PlayStation died on me. Which brings me to another point real quick. Microsoft and Twitch, y'all need to get together on your Twitch app on Microsoft and make that little bar that shows me how many people are viewing my stream. Make that disappear. I cannot stand that stays on my screen the entire stream. A lot of times I don't stream on Xbox just because I can't stand that little bar being down there. Let it pop up when somebody comes in or if I want to check it out, but don't leave it there at all times. That's just a pet peeve of mine, so please, Microsoft, Twitch, do something about it. But check me out on Twitch, same thing as my YouTube, DJ_Illmatic. Also hit me up on Twitter, DJ Illmatic23, no underscore, no space, that's all together, DJ Illmatic23. Check me out on one or all of those joints and I will holler back at you. Once again, much love to all the people out there that support DJ Illmatic. Appreciate the support, appreciate the love. Fat shout to my Organized Gamers family. Fat shout to my boy Bam. One time for show. Big shout to Tav. Anyway, we doing big things, y'all. This DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation, episode 11. Doing it like Jay-Z, y'all. One take, no cuts. Work with me, people. New technology, new software, so I'm not really sure how everything's working out. But we'll get it along as we go, learn how to use this stuff. But we out of here, y'all. DJ Illmatic, Daily Operation, episode 11. We out, y'all. 1.